Hello again, my Zentangle friends. Today I'm doing day 30 of the Inktober 2020 Tangles, and today's pattern is Hamadox by Diana Schreur, and I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but she is a CZT, and this is a very pretty pattern. I think I've seen it before, but this is the first time that I've actually tried it, and I really like it. This one she calls a tango between Hamail and paradox. So this right here is a very small picture of Hamail, and that is by Tina Aqua Hunziker. Not sure how to say that one either. And then it is combined with paradox to become Hamadox. So this one was a lot of fun to play with, and I think you'll enjoy it. So I'm going to do this on a big tile. This is actually a piece of paper from my sketchbook. It is a mixed media sketchbook, but I wanted enough room to show you how to do this. Let me zoom in. Whoa, just a little bit. Help you out there. Okay, so like paradox, we're going to start with a box. And I'm going to make this one fairly big so it's easy to see and easy to add a little bit of embellishments to it. Okay, so like I said, start with a box, and then we're just going to add, I guess I'll call these little petals, and we're going to anchor these down at the next corner, and I'm going to keep turning my tile. I actually did this earlier today. I had to pause the video, and then when I came back to finish, I forgot to unpause it. So it didn't record except about less than a minute. So I'm redoing it. That's okay. I enjoy this pattern. Okay, so you can keep turning your tile like that, but once I get the first few done, I'm just going to stay on one side and finish it. And I'm trying to keep them about the same width, but if it's not, it's okay. Again, coming down to that corner. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing on all four sides. Again, if you don't want to watch me repeat this, you can always fast forward a little bit. On my videos, I do not increase the speed because I want you to have the opportunity to watch it at regular speed and not have it always going fast. I have seen some videos where I wanted to see more of what they were doing, but it was sped up too much. So even though it's repeated, you can use YouTube options to speed this up or move it forward, whatever works for you. But I will keep my videos at a regular speed. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going, and I'm going to try to go a little bit faster here since this is very repetitive. And we did Paradox just a few days ago, so I was happy to see that this was one of the next patterns on the Inktober Tangles because it combines with Paradox. Okay, so there you go. There's the first step. Now, if you remember with Paradox, we start at one corner like this, and we would be drawing a straight line and then turn our tile and draw another straight line and turn our tile. But I'm not going to do it that way. I saw a video where a lady did it just a little bit differently, and it makes more sense to me. But we're going to put these same petals now on the inside. And it's going to be very similar to how we did Paradox, except that with Paradox, I normally went from small to big. But this one, we're going to go ahead and make that petal shape here and bring it around from big down to small. And I'm trying to make them about the same size as the other. I guess you could call this like a half petal. And I'm going to fill in these open areas as I go. Okay. Yeah, with the original step out, she did a straight line and then she came in and rounded it, but I think it's just easier to do it this way. You get your petals, in my opinion, closer to how you had them out here on the other side. But I just love how this looks. I tried Hamail in the past and I struggled with getting it to look good, but I like this combination a lot. Keep turning your tile. Keep your hand in a comfortable position and move your tile. You could stop at this point and put like a Zen gem in the middle. I think that would be really pretty. I will probably eventually try that. Okay, and then I think for this ending, I'm just going to put another petal in here and then darken that in. Okay, so there you go. That is Hamail. I love it. I think it's very pretty. And for the basic pattern, to add shading, again, you're always going to want to add shading where a lot of lines converge in one place. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of shading along this edge. And then take my tortillon and soften it, bring it towards the center. Okay. Do the same thing on each of these sides. Soften it with your tortillon. Try not to leave harsh edges. Okay, and I like to put a little bit of shading on the tips of these petals, just very softly. It gives it more of the feeling that it's rounded. So I'm going to do that quickly to show you how that's going to look. Oop, one more. I have really enjoyed doing these Inktober Tangles. If you haven't ever looked at the tanglepatterns.com, that's an excellent place to find new patterns. Linda Farmer does that site, and she adds new patterns every week. And I know there are hundreds of patterns there that I have never tried. And so when this Inktober Tangles is finished, then I am challenging myself to do at least one of these new videos a week to highlight a pattern that's new to me. Okay, can you see how that's given a nice effect to the tips of these leaves? Or petals, sorry, not leaves. Remind me of flower petals. And I'm noticing as I look at this one how it's kind of square because that's where my box was, but I'm just gonna kind of soften that a little bit, round it right there also. That's the perfectionist in me saying that doesn't look right. So, okay. So here's where our original square was, right here. Soften this one. Okay. Isn't that pretty? I really love that. And another thing that she does is she adds an aura next to each of these petals. So like I said, here was the square. I'm going to start in this direction and bring it down. Just to give you an idea of how you can embellish this a little bit. If you make it big enough, you could actually even put other patterns inside of it. Okay, so to do that with each of these, you could add a line, add a dot at the end if you want, similar to what we do with flux. I think that's pretty. And when I research these patterns, I go to the Mosaic app and I look around and I look for videos to see how other people might have done it. And then I try to show you the things that I've learned. So you could do this. Let me do it all the way into the inside. Okay, so there. Okay, and on the step out that I showed you, there is a section here where she shows several squares going across. So she has done several together. And on one of the videos that I watched, and I believe the lady, in her YouTube channel is called Holly Homemaker. I'm going to show you one of the ways that she did it. So she did 2 squares, but I'm going to bring the other square down this way. Okay, so you start with 2 squares, and then I'm just going to keep turning, doing the petals like we did on the other one. I'm just going to keep going in that same direction, turning my tile. Until I get this first few petals done, and then we'll do it like I did the other one. The tricky one is where it meets here, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, so on these sides, let's just go ahead and do those. You don't have to watch me keep flipping my tile around. And we're doing it just like we did on this one. Okay, so when you get to where these two corners meet, this is where we're just going to alternate how we do it. And now I can keep coming down this way. And I'm going to come back up here and fill in these spaces. And I think I'll add another one there. Okay, now we're back to the regular corners. You could do this with squares going like this. You could add another square over here. It would just take some practice to figure it out, but when this is finished, it's very pretty. Okay, so here we're going to alternate again. I'm going to do this one, and then this side, this one, and this side. Fill these in. Let's go ahead and put one more. Okay, so now we go back to doing it the way that we did in the middle. And I'll try to do this fairly quickly. And here I'm just going to put a petal in. And then fill in these spaces. And I'm doing this kind of quick, so I may not get them perfectly filled in, but I'm not worried about perfect. I'm going to round that one a little bit. And I want to show you this because it's so pretty how it looks when you finish this center part. I can't believe there's only one day to go in my Inktober videos. If you have enjoyed these, please subscribe and like the videos that you liked. I'm hoping to put together a list of all the videos that I have available on my YouTube channel. There are some that I've mentioned before that my students have paid for. If you're interested, they're only $10. I also cut my own tiles, and I have a very pretty group of tiles that I put together that I cut from my from my Cricut that make a beautiful layered group of Zentangle tiles. How's that? Okay, so I love how this comes together. I just think it's so pretty. So now let's shade it. Add a little bit of shading on the tops of these petals. Shading at the bottom. And I guess you can see I have my pencil almost flat so that I'm using just an edge. I don't want a sharp point on here. I should be able to do this one in my sleep now. It's the second time I've done it. Plus I did another tile just for fun this morning using Hamadox. And I will show you that. I was adding watercolor to it, which is unusual for me. I like to do the watercolor on my paper first and then just add random patterns. But occasionally when I have a nice flowery patterns put together like this, I like to go back and add a little bit of watercolor. Doing this in a little bit of a hurry, and that's okay. You'll be able to see. Okay, now to soften it all. Okay, I'm going to round this a little bit better. Oops, missed one part. All right. There you go. I just think that's gorgeous. I had a lot of fun with that. So I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you like the videos, subscribe to my channel. I have email information that shows up at the beginning of each of these videos. I have links to step outs. Okay, there you go. Hamadox. And like I said, I did this whole video earlier today and then didn't unpause my recording. So there it is. That's if you add the auras to each of these petals and then add your little lines inside of each. That's how that turns out. And then there we go with that same one. So that's a very basic Hamadox. And I will show you the one that is not quite finished. But since I was almost done with the Inktober Tangles, I wanted to do a whole tile that has just some of my favorites that I've done so far for Inktober. So here's Hamadox in the center. This is Dragonair along the outside. And then this is Bunzo. And then I put an aura around all this. And then I'm going to add more to finish this tile. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun with this one, and I hope that you do too. And I will see you tomorrow for the last tangle, which is Spud by Debbie New, CZT. Again, thank you very much for joining me. I've really enjoyed this, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.